Justin Trudeau separates from his wife while the rest of humanity continues to separate from reality. Welcome to the weekly roundup, where we cover the most diabolical yet hilarious news of the week. Our top story today: Justin Trudeau is back in the news after announcing his separation from the First Lady of Canada. On his Instagram, Trudeau wrote, "Sophie and I would like to share the fact that after many meaningful and difficult conversations, we have made the decision to separate. As always, we remain a close family with deep love and respect for each other and for everything we have built and will continue to build. For the well-being of our children, we ask that you respect our and their privacy." And his wife, Sophie Gregoire Trudeau, shared an identical message. Oh, that's good. Our country is being led by a man whose wife decided to hyphenate her last name. That makes me feel safe. News of Trudeau's separation has led to Canadians calling for their own separation from the most hated prime minister in Canadian history. But to those of us who have been paying attention, this isn't news. Trudeau's wife clearly learned her acting skills from her drama teacher husband, because it's clear they've been separated for years. Check out the recoil on that kiss. Look at this one. This chick's about to be injected with literal poison, and her biggest concern is catching cooties from Trudeau. Can you blame her? Speaking of women willing to die for the cause, vegan raw food diet influencer Jana d'Art has died from suspected starvation. Vegan influencer Jana Samsonova has allegedly died of starvation after subsisting exclusively on a diet of exotic fruit in Malaysia, according to her friends and family. She was 39 years old. I mean, the story is sad, but look on the bright side. Human beings are sacrificing themselves to save the cows and chickens, which means for the first time in history, the animals we typically eat have a chance to really freely evolve. And we're already seeing the positive effects. Meet Angela the bear. Zoogoers can barely believe it's real. A zoo in China has refused to grin and bear it after video of one of its bears standing on its hind legs went viral, forcing officials to deny it was a human in a costume. I don't even have any jokes for this. That is just straight up adorable. And as the animals mimic the humans mimic the animals. Meet Toko, the man going viral for his first walk as a human dog. The man, identified only as Toko, wears a hyper-realistic suit in order to realize his lifelong dream of becoming a good boy. His YouTube channel, I Want to Be an Animal, has become an online sensation and shows videos of him in the dog costume, rolling on the floor, confusing other canines, and just generally being man's best friend. Hey man, if you wanted to be a good boy, you could have saved yourself a lot of time and money by contacting this guy.
So you're really trying to tell me that you just rolled out of bed like that? You're glowing. You're making me feel good. I want to make you feel good. Go lay back down. Go. Now.
You have no idea how amazing you are. Lay back and relax. Good girl.
Joey B, I'll never forgive you for bringing that man into my awareness. You know, I'm sure you're hoping this dog story is a one-off, but this seems to be quite the trend in Japan. Another man has spent approximately $20,000 on an ultra-realistic costume so he can fulfill his lifelong dream of looking like a wolf. It turns out furry culture is so popular in Japan that they host a furry convention every year. The con's programming includes workshops and seminars in acting, costume building, art, and more. You know, I'd say the Japanese are into some weird shit, but I don't want a Ben Bankus situation on my hands. Canadian comedian Ben Bankus caused quite a stir this week after Asian TikToker Sujia started beef with him over his impersonation of Toronto Mayor Olivia Chow.
I get it, you're doing comedy. It's just such the corny, like obvious, lazy, low-hanging fruit kind of joke. It just makes me think maybe comedy isn't for you. I don't know if that's the right career path for you, you know? And I'm not basing this off of just this one little bit. I listened to your other jokes and hope you have a backup plan.
He may very well need a backup plan because the feud carried on until she eventually got his upcoming comedy shows canceled. Now, I didn't know who this woman was, so I perused her TikTok, and it's exactly what you'd expect. Video after video of her calling out white people for racism, mostly in the form of silly accents, while being wildly racist herself.
I'm sorry if you were offended by the things that I said and did.
And we're the ones that all look the same. Okay.
I was in Kansas for work. This was back in like 2007.
Kansas.
I know, right?
The entire state of Kansas. I know, right? Now, none of this is particularly interesting or surprising, but what I do find kind of weird is that an Asian woman who uses her platform exclusively to call out racists would conveniently forget to raise awareness about the most racist ethnic group on the planet. Asians! You want to talk about white supremacy? Look no further than Asian people, okay? These people operate under a social hierarchy that literally goes from dark to light. The pecking order goes like this: Desert Black, Island Black, Middle Eastern, South Asian, Jungle Asian, Chinese, Korean, Japanese, European White, Sean Patrick Flannery from the movie Powder. Asian people don't care who you are or where you're from. They don't care what you did, as long as you possess very low levels of melanin. Don't believe me? This is Sujia's husband. Wow, Ginger. That's the best one. Asian racism is no secret. Everybody knows how prevalent it is in their culture. In Korea, racism is so acceptable that segregation is common, with bars and clubs often turning away black patrons.
A white woman in the club. How do you let a white woman in the club? No. Yo, this is Korea.
In China, there's a literal Muslim genocide taking place. And in Japan, this is their idea of wholesome family entertainment.
I see trees of green, red lotus too. I see the moon from me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
How this keeps going from like bad to worse to worser to worsest to most worstest ever of all.
But in all seriousness, Sujia really did accomplish something wonderful with this video. Because after she posted this, many others hopped on the bandwagon and condemned Ben Bankus for his impersonation of Olivia Chow. And I gotta say, I'm proud of the Asian community for banding together in the face of something so inconsequential. I mean, white people can't even schedule a meeting, and they're currently dealing with this.
Shoot to kill the mother, kill the poor, the farmer, kill the poor.
That's political party leader Julius Malema chanting "Kill the Boer," which translates to kill the white farmer. He is directly shouting "Kill white people" to a crowd of cheering South Africans, and this is what the American mainstream media had to say about it. Kill the Boer song fuels backlash in South Africa and US. Right-wing commenters claim that an old anti-apartheid chant is a call to anti-white violence, but historians and the left-wing politician who embraces it say it should not be taken literally. My God, these people hate you even more than I thought. That would all be very nice and easy to believe if this figurative call to violence didn't often lead to real-life consequences. This is a field of white crosses, 2,500 to be exact, one for every white farmer who has been brutally murdered in South Africa.
In the heart of the South African countryside, there is a monument that stands as a solemn reminder of the tragedies that have befallen the farmers and their families. The White Cross Monument, also known as the Plasmorder Monument, is tended to by a caretaker named Chris.
The monument was started quite a few years back in the early 2000s to get people's knowledge back and to let them know about the farm murders, so that they can see the count of farm murders that's taking place in South Africa at the moment.
has time to raise awareness about any of this when there's an epidemic of Western white people saying funny words with poorly executed Chinese accents?
Select the knee flick, the hoo-hoo, the you-hoo, and the didney.
People like Sujia don't avoid these stories because they're insignificant. They avoid them because they shatter the illusion that racism is exclusive to the West. An imaginary story they've woven not because they want equality, but because they want vengeance. Vengeance for every time they felt othered in a crowd of foreign faces. This feeling is natural because tribalism is natural. It's a survival mechanism that's built into our design. Asking a human being to be completely racially unbiased is like asking them to stop the replication of their cells. You're demanding a failure of an integral human function. Every country wants to preserve its culture and racial identity, and this inherent drive for self-preservation is acceptable in every corner of the earth except the West. White Westerners are expected to observe and respect the culture, religion, and customs of foreign countries, while those same demanding foreigners scoff at the idea of reciprocating.
Kansas.
I know, right?
And this isn't an accident, it's an invasion. They don't want your acceptance, they want your servitude. It's just human nature. The truth is that racism will always exist, and there's not a damn thing any of us can do about it. That's the point. I mean, unless, of course, we eliminate our differences. We could get rid of gender and everyone could be mixed race, and we could have one world religion and one centralized government. Kind of like a new world order. Wait. Alright guys, that's it for me today. If you like this video, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and check out some other videos from my channel. Also, if you want to support me and this channel, please consider subscribing to my Patreon. I post 2 long-form videos there every month. Okay, bye!
Look, Mom, I'm American. I got all my vaccinations and all my booster shots. What are your pronouns? That's toxic. That's toxic. That's toxic. That's toxic.
See, this is where you laugh instead of being an absolute buzzkill.